What is going on, guys? Jack here, and you join me for what is and will be my final Football Manager 2015 video. Now, today I wanted to do a video where we kind of tie up a lot of loose ends with my channel. We'll take one last look at the Lewes save for old time's sake. It really has been my big save this year. It's been a bit of a weird year for me in terms of what's been going on my channel, in terms of playing Football Manager itself, and then just a bit of everything really. Of course, you guys may or may not know, for FM 2015 I was actually working on the game between kind of September time and kind of April, March time of this year. So I kind of worked a lot on this cycle behind the scenes testing the game, and as a result it kind of had a negative impact, I guess, on my channel in a lot of ways. I enjoyed my time working at SI, it was great fun. Obviously, new job starting now, which again kind of impacted uploads over the summer. But come FM16, you guys will be aware, I am ramping up content. We did a lot of pre-FM16 videos a few weeks ago now. I've kind of slowed them down just a little bit. I believe the beta is due to launch at the end of next week sometime, so there will be videos when that is a thing, of course. But yeah, as I said, I wanted to do a video just to kind of tie up loose ends, say goodbye to FM15, which for me, as I mentioned, it's been a funny game because I've not played it perhaps as much casually as I would any other FM. I say that, I think I still have over 1,500 hours on this game, which, I mean, by any game standard is a hell of a lot of time to play, but Football Manager is just that kind of game. So if you've missed some of the earlier FM16 videos and you're clicking on this video because it has Lewes in the thumbnail, yeah, go check them out if you haven't seen them. And this will be kind of the last video, I think, until FM16 whenever it drops. However, I have been working on a video that might come out. Let me know if you'd like to see this, but it's a video of my best regens across any YouTube or stream save that I've ever done on Twitch or on YouTube. So if you'd like to see that video, kind of a top 10 countdown, that is something I'm looking to do. So, I guess we'll talk a little bit about the Lewes save now, and kind of, in fact, before I talk about the Lewes save, because I'll probably go on a big rant, just so you guys know what is planned for FM16 at launch for the beta week and a half or 2 weeks, however long the beta is, I can't remember exactly. The plan is to do a Liverpool save, which will be coming your way as soon as the beta drops. You know, going to be trying to get out 2 episodes a day, which is going to be a ridiculous challenge, especially with me working. I've taken some holiday off work to record videos, which, I mean, if that isn't a side of commitment, I don't know what is. And I just can't wait for FM16 to drop. As well as that, I'm going to have some kind of tutorial videos, stuff like installing graphics, best Wonder Kid shortlists. You guys really enjoyed those kind of videos around the start of FM15. Going to do more of the same when it comes to that. So that's a little bit about what's in store. If you've got any questions about other stuff that I'm going to be doing, leave them in the comments. I'm sure there's going to be stuff I've missed. This is going to be a little bit of a wafflier video, so I appreciate the hardcore, I guess, viewers who are probably going to watch through this. But yeah, we're going to tie up loose ends with Lewes. So the last Lewes episode I did was just before I accepted a role at my new job, which involved me moving across the country. And as a result, I just didn't have the time, convenience, or motivation really to do videos. I'm sure if you've ever started like a new big job whilst moving house, it kind of throws a spanner in the works when it comes to your routine and all that kind of stuff. So, as a result, I didn't do many Lewes episodes. However, in the time since the last episode, which I believe was kind of April time, just as I moved out of London, and now I did manage to play one more season here of this Lewes save, and, well, I ended things by doing what I wish I could have done whilst recording episodes, and that was winning the league, albeit by 2 points. It was a delightful, I guess, way to round up what has been a really kind of dear series to my heart. I feel like I've fallen in love with this club, and actually, we won in quite dramatic fashion on the last day of the season, with Arsenal losing and us winning, which again made me want to kick myself. What you're probably noticing here is on the top goal scorers, Matthew Lewes, 51 goals in a season. The man just kept doing it, even off camera. Look at him, 26 years old. It's a bit weird to think he only really had a 10-year career as far as this save's ever going to go. This is the kind of save that, who knows, maybe, you know, midway through FM16 I'll come back and play in my own time occasionally. I still do that with a Gibraltar save of mine from FM 2014, so that's like a 2-year-old save now, and I still thoroughly enjoy kind of doing that save because it's just good fun. But I mean, looking at Matthew Lewes here, he was the man of this save, by far my player of FM15. If I could give, like, you know, an award ceremony out, he would be getting player of the year. 51 league goals in this season. I thought he got a lot when he got 41 in the last recorded season, but in this season, 51 goals, 12 in cup competitions, 10 in the continental competitions, 73 in total. The year before that, he got 77. This man, 150 goals in 2 years. That's not too bad. And he did win some awards as well. I feel like for a lot of people will remember the Lewes save for being the Matthew Lewes story. And that's really what it was. For a guy to start my club, to find an incredible regen he generated not at a club, be able to draw him in ahead of Premier League teams by just offering him ludicrous money for the division we're in, to be able to sell him on but then bring him back and for him to perform as he did, it really is a fairy tale. You can see looking at the actual awards he won Football Writers Player of the Year, he was in the Team of the Season, he obviously got top goal scorer every year, he got Best Player in Europe runner-up. I feel like he got in the, you can see here, he got in the World Team of the Year, 2024 Golden Ball, which is basically the Ballon d'Or. This guy, he won it all, and he won it all with the club that he started his career at, and like, there's not many players like him. I also occasionally get people go, will you use the real-time editor to do this, just to prove this once and for all? In-game editor allowed, no. Used, no. He was legit. I believe it was actually changed how regens generate after kind of the January update, because this shouldn't happen. But by all intents and purposes, he is the man who I will remember from this save, and I feel like he'll have a special little place in my Football Manager heart for as long as I play the games, because he really just was that kind of player. There are other players who deserve mentions like Sonogo. I still love this guy's hair. I really hope I get a regen next year with this hair. I hope these, the regen face packs I use with the shoulders are in next year's game and work in FM16, so we can get more people with Sonogo's hair. But another player who actually joined us when we were in League One, he didn't get a work permit, so he didn't technically sign for us till we were in the Championship. But what a man he was. Lewes is one of his favourite clubs. He's just an incredible player. Not many players better than him. As I mentioned, we did win the league in this last season. We did get knocked out in the Champions League semi-final by Juventus, unfortunately. We finished runner-up in the FA Cup. We didn't win everything. I think that's worth noting. Like, with this Lewes save, I mean, we've won the Premier League and we've won the Champions League, which when I started my tracksuit to the top series was kind of the dream. When I started the series, I guess it really wasn't, because the idea with tracksuit to the top was that I'd progress through a managerial career and, leave multiple clubs. So I ended up falling in love with this little team in West Sussex, which only happens to be about 20 minutes down the road from where I live now, and I didn't know I was going to be moving to where I am now. It's just one of those little weird, I guess, coincidence that happens. I still need to go and see them. I feel terrible having not gone and seen a Lewes game live, but that is going to be happening at some point this year, I'm sure. If you'd like to see maybe a vlog of me going down for the day, that's something that would be cool to do maybe down the line, because I do have now a special kind of place in my heart with this side. But yeah, we did everything with this team. It didn't quite become the tracksuit to the top series. A lot of people have been asking, what is my plan for FM16? I've not actually made a decision on my long-term save. As I mentioned, the Liverpool save is the first plan. Part of me really wants to do the Pentagon. We did it in FM 2013 and it beat me. I gave up. I quit. I won the North American Champions League. I won the Asian Champions League. And then I didn't win anything else. I did the hard bit. I got my reputation semi-decent. I won the African Cup of Nations as well as Cameroon manager. But unfortunately, it just didn't quite materialise, that save. I was still doing the FC United and Manchester save at the same time in FM13, which if you've never watched the FC United and Manchester save and you want something to watch until FM16, that save is as good as the Lewes save in a lot of ways, and I recommend checking it out. And I technically finished that save in terms of I reached a point of closure in videos where it's like, yeah, my work here is done and I could walk away from the club happy. So I guess we'll have a quick look at the history of the club. In fact, let's have a look at my history first. So as I mentioned, we've only managed this one team, 0 days spent on holiday, 3,988 total game time. It's basically 11 seasons, 17 awards won, only the one job. We made £6 million in wages, which for a guy who started as a Sunday League manager with not a lot, isn't a bad kind of total sum to make in a career. Players bought and players sold. You can see here we actually made money selling players. We sold a lot less players than we bought, but obviously a lot of those players were bought in the lower leagues. But that's still quite an impressive achievement, I think. Highest fee received was for Soares, a player who at one point was looking like he was going to be a flop for us, but somehow we got £79 million for him, which I really can't complain about. You can see, looking at other things here, win percentage 59%, goals for 1,400 against about 8,500. 4 cup wins, 6 promotions, 6 leagues won. It's been a journey, this save. I feel bad for not having recorded the last season, but it was just the nature of the situation I was in, and I hope that regardless of the fact that this series kind of ended a lot sooner than I wanted it to, in terms of I didn't really get to turn Lewes into that dominant force, I hope you guys did enjoy this save for what it was, which was just a fantastic journey. And I think in a lot of ways, if I'd ended winning the Champions League, that wouldn't have been the end of the world. It was the fact that I kind of wanted to keep it going, but with everything else that came up, I couldn't. I mean, to win the Champions League with Lewes, it's probably harder than winning the league. I feel like to do it in our first season in the Champions League was just ridiculous. The run that we went on, Matthew Lewes pretty much single-handedly carried us. It's just been a crazy adventure, really. Kouakou, a guy who, I swear there'll be people in the YouTube comments who still want to see this guy, sold. People, every episode I'd get people telling me that this guy wasn't good enough. He joined us on a free, for crying out loud. He did a great job, the Ivorian. He was criticised by a lot of people in the YouTube comments, but looking at him, he turned out to be one hell of a player for us and do just such a fantastic job at the club. And, there's not many goalkeepers who you get on free transfers who just basically become your long-term keeper for, in this case, 7 years, 6 years. He did a pretty good job for us, Alexander Kouakou, despite all the haters in the comments. Let's have a look quickly. I don't want to make this video too long. I kind of just wanted to give you guys an update on how this series finished, I guess. We'll have a look at our best 11 of all time and have a look through the names that made this series. And what a lineup we have here. So in goal, it's Kouakou. We've already talked about him. Left back, Borthwick Jackson. Of course, a player we signed from Manchester United. I believe this was when we were in League 2. Yeah, League 2 we signed him, and he played all the way with us until he was in the Premier League, which is kind of a nice journey for him. A player who was released by Manchester United, kept playing with us, went through the leagues. Actually looks like a pretty darn good player. Now playing for Bradford in the Championship. He was a good player for us. At the back, we go with Harayana and Sweeney. Harayana, a player we signed when we first joined the kind of Premier League. You can see here the Armenian. He did a pretty good job for us for £2 million, it's fair to say. And alongside him, Sweeney, who, similarly to Borthwick Jackson, joined us in League 2 and continued on his way with us up through the divisions, made 3 appearances in the Premier League, and made an appearance in every single tier of the English Football League in terms of the actual league itself. That's not a bad achievement for him. At right back, a player who was actually at the club when I first joined, Henry Muggeridge. I believe he still plays for Lewes in real life, so to have a few players who were there right at the beginning, still in the best 11, is pretty cool. But you can see this guy, in our first season, got 14 assists in the Northern Premier League, which is outside the National South and kind of national divisions. That's an incredible feat, and to see him amongst some of these players is great. Left mid, Sam Cole, actually, another player who, similarly to Muggeridge, started his time at Lewes, which is kind of cool. Left midfielder didn't really win a lot with us, but he was there at the early days. In midfield, it's Sonogo and Aarons, who did a fantastic job for us, and you can see Rolando Aarons, of course. He's just been a really solid player for us. Of course, in real life, he plays for Newcastle. The chances are that he is going to end up playing in the Premier League. And I look forward, actually, there's a few players who we encountered in this save who are looking like they will become Premier League players in the future. And I look forward to maybe in a few years' time pointing at them and kind of saying, oh, that was a Lewes legend. But Rolando Aarons was certainly one of those players. Right mid, Alexander Haas, German kind of player. It's weird how I still know all the names and the first names just based off the initials at the front. This save really does hold a special place in my heart. I think this guy might win the record for the most money ever made off a transfer in a year. I don't think you're going to get much better than £70 million for a player you signed on a free. Actually, a player who really struggled at Sevilla, but he transformed under my leadership. You can see he got 4 goals in 2 years at Sevilla. Joined us, 15 and 33. Moved to Real Madrid for 70 million. Sevilla got slightly mugged off. And of course up front, Matthew Lewes, who we've already talked about, but Kelechi Iheanacho, who you guys may have noticed has scored a few Premier League goals so far this season for Man City. It's kind of cool to see him doing such a great job for us. I got a few tweets when he scored his first Premier League goal, which was really cool. People going, oh, have you seen Iheanacho scored? Lewes legend. And I just love the connection that you find with players in Football Manager, and I'm delighted to say that in this series we were kind of able to do a bit of that. In terms of on the bench, Craig Mullen, who joined at the same time as Matthew Lewes, a goalkeeper who's been with us his entire career, from the very bottom to the very top, was never sold, was never moved on, played, I think, in every single division, which is just a ridiculous achievement for the English guy. I mean, if you can find a player with a history with that kind of climb up the leagues in FM, tweet me a picture of it, because that is an incredible career to have for Craig Mullen, and he does find a spot on the bench. We also have Jonathan Muleba, who I think actually scored this season for a Football League team. I can't remember who it is he's playing for, but as you can see, he joined us on a free. And he's just done a job for us. And he was still at the club until he moved to Barnsley. His contract expired in 2020. And he hung around the club for 4 years, not on a contract, just getting paid week on week. I think he just liked the training facilities and liked the players around him. Just another cool player who was kind of with us, I guess, since the early days. We've also got Pedrero, who's a real talent who I still could have become just one of the best players in the world. Unfortunately, the save and the fact he got injured impacted that. But the 21-year-old played 4 years of first-team football for us in the Premier League and performed very well in that position. Juan Carlos Leon, our Mexican amigo for, I guess, Sonogo in the centre mid. These two guys, this guy and Sonogo, just had an incredible partnership. The Mexican did a great job for us. Got us a few screamers in his day. If you can remember some of them, they were incredible goals. And then we have Alex Samuel, of course. 29 years old now, playing for Wigan. We signed him on a free from Swansea. Played with us right through the divisions, from League 2 to the Premier League. That's the thing I actually really liked about this save, I guess, was the fact that there was a lot of players I signed in League 2 and League 1 who played with me all the way until the Premier League. They were a lot of younger players, hadn't been given a second chance by their club. Their contracts had run out. We kind of took them in at Lewes, gave them that confidence. Some of them we sold on, some of them we kept forever. And they did a great job for us. Niall Keown, again, another player who, quite similar to that really, the Irish international. You can see he left us a little bit prematurely perhaps, but even he, played with us regularly in League 2, League 1, played in the Championship, then moved away and has established himself as a League 1 player. Anyway, just one last player to tell you guys about. I feel like this guy for me is going to be the guy who I weirdly remember the most. I imagine if you found him on Facebook, he'd have like 100 friends and be a student who, he's never going to become an actual footballer in real life. And I hope he does, because it'd be cool to see this guy's name. But Darian Neven, who, as you can see here, in real life, he got released by Charlton in 2013, and he spent a year without a club. And I found him just by chance when I first managed Lewes and I needed some free transfers. And he came in, and well, as you can see here, he bagged 49 goals in 2 seasons for us. And from there, he left. We brought him back for 1 year in the Premier League, and then he decided to go back to the Midland Football League, and he's now retired, I believe, from playing at the same level that we're playing at now. But what's kind of weird is he plays for Horsham YMCA, and where I work now is in Horsham. It's just a weird coincidence that, like, the fact he moved to a club which is now based down the road from me. Like, that is just bizarre. I can't express how weird that feels to like kind of say it. It's a weird coincidence. It's too spooky for me. But anyway, I think that wraps up this Lewes save. I feel like we'll take one quick look at the club's kind of trophy room and kind of what was won. But I feel like I feel like this is closure in a way. I feel like I should have done this video a lot sooner. But I feel like it's quite a fitting way to end FM15. It's not been, I guess, on my YouTube channel, perhaps the most memorable year. We didn't really have that epic save that lasted forever. I feel like this Lewes save maybe fills that void. I mean, we did over 100 episodes of it, which 100 episodes of any FM series is no mean feat. I wish I could have kept it going through the whole year. I wish the Arsenal save at the start of the year had kept going longer. I feel like now I'm not working on Football Manager, I'm going to have a lot more kind of commitment and a lot more desire to play the game in my own time, which is only going to benefit you guys because it'll mean there's more videos coming your way. And I guess here's to FM16, and also a thank you to FM15 for the memories that you provided me. Gave me a fantastic chance, I guess, to work in the games industry at SI, which has now led to the new job that I have. It's just kind of fitting. I feel like I will remember this game for the Football Manager game that I worked on, I guess, and rather than the one where I had an epic save for, which is quite unique. But anyway, that's going to wrap up this video, guys. I just wanted to do this video. It's been about 2 weeks since I did the Sam Allardyce at Sunderland video. I just wanted to let you guys know I'm still here. I'm alive. There's videos coming for FM16. It's just a case of with 2 weeks left of FM15. There aren't that many videos to do. I don't really want to start a new series playing an FM15 save for 2 weeks. It's not worth it. But yeah, here's to FM16. Thank you, FM15. And other than that, guys, it is me, Jack. And I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.